Hi, Stuart. It's Paula.
Yes, Paul.
You shared so many beautiful things at the beginning of this class about life. Could I ask you to please repeat some of what you shared, if you remember from earlier?
About light. What about light?
Life, about life.
Life, that's a big subject.
Yes, please.
A very big subject, Paul. Uh, can you get more specific about what?
Um, you were sharing, and I'm not remembering exactly. It was so profound about life as not life as teacher, but something in this way, that life as the experience, life is the gift, I believe, was what you said. Life
Well,
is the
look, we take life for granted. We take the food we eat for granted. We take the people that are in our lives for granted. We take, our jobs, everything we take for granted. We get familiar. We understand when we begin to do things, it, there's a lot of inspiration. We get excited about them. And then we begin to do things by rote. And we start taking the greatest treasure that we are given, which is life. You understand? And please try and sit still. The greatest treasure that we're given is life. And people just assume they're entitled, it's coming to them. They understand that they can shit all over it. They can, treat it in any way they want to treat it. And we're talking about, perhaps the most sacred thing that we, have around us every single day, which is life. And we're given such a short period to live in these particular bodies, 60 years, 80 years, 20 years, 30 years. I mean, in terms of cosmic time, it's like, it's less than a blink of an eye. And yet, in that period of time, we create so much drama. We create so many positive and negative situations that are constantly in conflict with each other. And we do it, as Rudy used to tell me all the time, we do that because people are not having a spiritual life. If they have an inner life, if they're getting closer to God, if they're growing inside themselves, you understand, they're not going to create that kind of drama in the world because they'll have so much going on inside them in terms of change, in terms of growth, in terms of realization, in terms of visions, that they're not going to take anything for granted or treat anything cheaply. Because ultimately, the greatest teacher that we all have is life, not Stuart, not even Rudy, who is a far superior teacher to me. It's life. My job, as I said, is to be a Kundalini aerobics instructor, to help everyone that attends these classes. It's my responsibility to give the best I can possibly give to help them develop a chakra system that can transform from taking life for granted to making life into something sacred. Life is what it is, and every human being interprets it according to the way they live, what goes on inside them. As I've said a million times, Shakti, higher energy, is very pure energy. It's not duality, it's not polarity, it's not right, wrong, good, bad. It's just energy. It comes into people, and because people spend so much time in their heads, and when you're in your head, everything is going to be duality, polarity, conflict, right, wrong, good, bad, logistics, logical interpretations of the world. And it's always going to be that way. So that energy comes into it, and that's what it becomes. That's what we offer the world. If it comes into us and the mind is quiet and the heart is open, then it goes in and it becomes love. It becomes joy, happiness. It becomes compassion. Understand? So, life is exactly what we have become inside ourselves. And whatever we are inside ourselves is what we project, and that's what the world is. It's very strange what goes on inside human beings. So you got to get the mind quiet. You got to get the heart open. You have to be grounded inside. So there's a root system that can support a spiritual life. You have to draw energy through the sexual area because there it's like an alchemical process that takes place that transforms all the elements of life into energy that activates Kundalini. So there's no longer a positive, negative, right, wrong, good, bad, just energy. That energy activates Kundalini. Kundalini rises, and Kundalini is the pathway to God. But our work is to make a system that can allow this to happen. That's what that's all meditation is about. So any kind of spiritual practice should be about building a system that allows this to happen. And if it doesn't happen for you, it's because you haven't built the system inside yourself to allow your witnessing of life to be something sacred, because that's what's emanating from you. Great treasure. This is what human beings are here to learn. We're born on the earth to learn how to transform all of this suffering and pain and everything into spiritual life, the nothingness that allows us to be children of God living in the world, not children of mind and conflict and all that crap that people project onto life that makes living here pretty difficult, I hope that's clear, because that's all meditation is about. It's not about ritual and this and that. It's about transforming oneself, getting a quiet mind, getting an open heart, getting, the chakra below the navel open so there's grounding and foundation. There's a root system inside. Strength, the chi, the power inside a human being. Transforming all of that as energy moves through the sex, where the male-female energy comes together and gives birth to Kundalini. It's a process that takes place inside a human being, but it needs our help. We don't do it, then you don't get it. You don't work on yourself and take it seriously and do it as a committed part of your life. You don't get this. This is all like me talking in some foreign language. But through the commitment and that deep inner work, a person arrives where they're in a state of nothingness. And it's nothing fanatical. You sit down and do a meditation at home a half hour a day. You come to these classes, and try to build that kind of system.
Stuart, you used the word alchemical, and I'm not sure I've heard you describe it in that way yet. Is that like the energy of
Well,
creation?
yes, it's the energy of, actually, alchemy is the energy of transformation. You're turning everything into gold. It's just a metaphor for turning everything into spirit. That's what alchemy is. It's a transformation of darkness to light, garbage to gold. There's so much garbage that runs around inside us. We need to learn to transform it into gold, into spirit, into light, into nothingness, so that we can receive that spiritual energy and it can guide our lives.
Thank you, Stuart. That was beautiful.
You're welcome. Now this is not an easy thing to do, what I'm talking about. It takes a lot of work. It takes time and patience and doing the inner work. And slowly, 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 one progresses and it becomes such a permanent reality inside you that what almost sounds like a foreign language, all this stuff I'm talking, it becomes clear. It gets clear. Oh, this is what it's about. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, this is what my teacher Rudy asked me to learn. He once told me, "You'll never need another teacher." He said, "I will give you everything." He told me that once. He told me this 50 times. He said, "You'll never need another teacher. I will give you everything." And gradually, over years and years and years, it just came. Mostly because I committed myself so profoundly to this work. And I'm not an exception. My God, I was a crazy kid born on the streets of the Bronx, tenement city, you know? And, it's fun. It's really fun to look out and see the world as a treasure, greatest treasure that anyone could have in their life is life itself. Breath is a treasure. Time is a treasure. Being is a treasure. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? Okay, thanks for that question, Paul. It really opened up a great deal. Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation on Wednesday. God bless you all. Thank you. And as I said before, and I say at every class, you all are my teacher. Every single one of you and your need to have a spiritual life inspires me to do the kind of work I do on Wednesday. Each of you is unique and different. And I think that's great because I don't want to have clones of Stuart or Rudy sitting here. Everybody is unique and uniquely connected to God. All we need is the energy to get there. And the meditation is about building a system that can get the Shakti, the energy that can help one truly open that door. That's a path to spiritual enlightenment. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Stuart. You too.
Thank you, Stuart.
Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Good night.